Thinking English is the essential part of speaking fluent English. If you know how to do that, it becomes super easy for you to speak fluent English. Today in the video, I'm going to expose what do I do to think in English, which ultimately helps me to speak well. Now, before starting the video, I would request you here, if you haven't subscribed this channel already, if you're new here on this channel, make sure to subscribe this channel right away. And if you find this video very helpful, give this video a thumbs up and share your feedback about this video in the comment section. Now, without further delay, let's jump right into the video. Alright, first thing first. Now, when I'm doing anything in regular routine, whatever I do, any activity, I always make sure that I'm thinking something, right? I'm just imagining something else. I'm in some different scenarios apart from the activity which I'm doing. However, I full concentrate on the activity, whatever I'm doing, but simultaneously, I think something else, some different scenarios. This thing helps me to think in English. For example, if I'm cooking, simultaneously I would be thinking something inside of my brain. Now it helps me so much. You can think whatever you want. Like if you're cooking, in my case, I cook, simultaneously I think while cooking. Like I'm talking to someone, what I would be saying, what I would be speaking at that time, if I'm talking to someone, any stranger or any other people. It is just my imagination or my thinking which I do while doing some different activities on regular basis. Try to make some different sentences and try to expand my thinking capabilities. Okay? So make sure whatever you are doing, any activity, and that is not taking your 100% concentration, your a lot of efforts. At that point of time, in that case, you can easily start thinking in English. Small sentences, right? It is like you are just imagining anything in your head only. So whatever you are doing, you can also do this. You can also think in English. In my case, I do it always. Whatever I do, I think in English something else apart from the activity which I am doing. Moving to the next activity, what I do to think in English, and it helps me so much to expand my thinking English abilities, and of course, ultimately, I could speak well. Now, apart from this, what I do, that is self-talk. I really love it a lot. I like to make time for myself so that I can reflect myself. What I need to do, where I need to have improvement, what I need to do to update myself. I really love to spend time with myself. And this spending time, I use it as started thinking or improving my thinking English skills. So whenever I get time and whenever I'm alone, I'm thinking something, how I will be explaining or describing some different situations. It is just inside of my brain. Whenever I get time or I spend time with myself, either I would be speaking with myself something or I would be thinking something. Just sit on a place in silence and start thinking whatever you want to think about. Any moment or anything. If you want to think about your future or anything else out there. But make sure that must be in English. You are actually describing inside of brain the situation you are thinking about, right? So make sure that you are thinking in English when you are alone. There is not a single thing which can actually disturb you. And of course, it is something necessary. Make sure that there is nothing which can actually be interruption of your thinking process, because it can be a big barrier to stop your thinking process and to expand it. It is really important to spread your thinking skills, right? Then only you can actually experience some different things, some different sentences, sentence structures or vocabularies. When you are thinking, sitting alone, there is no one who can distract you. It means that you are continuously expanding your thinking abilities. Yes, you are just trying to expand your thinking process, how much you can think, how much wider you can think about any situation, anything, any if you're describing some different scenarios, some different circumstances, how you can describe it and how deeply you can explain it. So make sure that when you are sitting alone, there is not a single disturbance which can actually interrupt your thinking process. Okay, if you do it, you will explore a lot of things. You will explore different types of sentence structures probably we don't know. So when you think wider, you try to think more and more, you explore different sentence structures and different suitable vocabulary to explore, to just explain the situation. And of course, when it is necessary, you go to the Google and search how to explain it. So it is really important to think and to just expand your thinking abilities. And you can do it when you are all alone. You have nothing to do. Apart from this, moving to the another activity, what I do. Now, this is also similar with this one. Whenever you are somewhere, wherever you are, wherever you go, whatever you see. For example, that you are in your room. There are some paintings, some different stuff, clothes, almirah, and some different things are there in your room. Now, what do you need to do? You need to explain, describe each and everything, whatever the things are there in your room, one by one. For example, you are describing almirah. Okay, how long it is, what are the things inside of this, and when did you buy it, and what some different things about your almirah. Okay, who used that, and how often you open or close it. Now let's take another example. If you are in your room, maybe there is a book you like a lot. There is a book that is your favorite one. You can explain why this book is your favorite. When did you buy this book? And what was the reason to buy this book? Is there anyone who suggested you to buy this book? Or what is the reason that this is your favorite? Right? You can explain so many things about that particular book. It is just examples. But there are so many things in your room. You can describe each and everything. This is called describing your surrounding. Okay? Whatever the things are surrounded you, you can describe one by one. It will help you to expand your abilities to describing something and to think about that particular object or anything it is. When you are describing something, it will help you to explore more and more things, like English language. You would be creating some different questions and simultaneously will be speaking answer of the question as well. Okay, so make sure that you are describing some different objects, whatever the objects are surrounded you. All right, now let's talk about the next activity which I do to think in English, which helps me to speak well. This activity is my favorite one, which helps me to think in English and to expand my thinking English abilities. That is called writing skills. I can write whatever I want. And same thing you can also do. If you like to write or if you don't like to write something, you must try it. Okay, you must give it a try. Because when you write something, you think, then you write. Without thinking, you cannot write. If I say that if you are writing about previous festival, it was Raksha Bandhan. Okay, now if you are writing about it, what did you do at Raksha Bandhan? Okay, how did you spend your time? And what did you do at that time, and with whom you were at that day, Raksha Bandhan? How did you celebrate it? And some different questions you can create. Okay, and what was the gift that you got at that day? So writing is also outstanding exercise that can help you to think in English. That can help you to start thinking in English gradually. If you don't know how to actually explain something completely, if you're a beginner, you don't know how to write and what to write, but make efforts. Okay, try to make efforts to write something. Try to write few sentences to explain a situation or anything else, whatever you want to explain. If you're using writing to start thinking in English, Literally, it would be far easier for you because this is something very practical for me and I used it a lot to start thinking in English and to start speaking in English in my initial stage. So I would highly suggest you here, you must give it a try. You must try writing to start thinking so that you can speak better English. Now let's talk about the next activity, which is the most powerful one, and that is all about debate and group discussions. When you find yourself involved in discussions or debates, you are actually forced to think in English, to think and explain your point of view in the debate or in discussion, right? When you are actually putting a lot of pressure in your head, ultimately you come up with amazing ideas. Group discussion debate, it is the fast and practical method or activity, you can say, which will help you so much. I mean, it can actually help you quickly to start thinking in English. So you can also take parts in debate or group discussion if you want to expand your English thinking so that you can speak well. Now, these are all practical tips or activities, you can say, which I do on regular basis so that I can expand my speaking skills and thinking skills in English. And I hope you can also have idea if you want to expand your speaking or thinking skills in English, because these are all practical tips, practical activities that you can do in order to start thinking or speaking well. All right, I hope you got something from this video to learn. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to let me know in the comment section. And of course, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Let's meet you in the next videos.